Are you ready to experience a bone-chilling adventure? Our story takes place on a dark autumn evening when childhood friends Ross and Peter decided to spend a night in a graveyard. As they venture deeper into the eerie grounds, strange occurrences begin to happen, and the boys soon find themselves in the midst of an inexplicable and terrifying mystery. Join us as we follow their journey of fear and survival, and uncover the secrets that lie within the graveyard's dark and haunted past. Get ready to hold on to your seats and brace yourself for the ride of your life. It was the 27th of October of year 2015. An autumn evening with the sounds of dry leaves falling. Childhood best friends Ross and Peter were passing by a graveyard. They loved to do adventures and had many adventures together. As their age was increasing, the risk in their adventures was also increasing. Looking at the graveyard, Peter asked Ross, "Haven't you ever thought how this graveyard would look at night? Why our parents don't allow us to pass through this graveyard after sunset?" I wonder," Ross replied. "So do you want to find out?" asked Peter with a mischievous smile. "Why are you smiling like that? What do you mean?" asked Ross, as he didn't understand what Peter meant. "Oh, you dumb boy. I mean, let's spend a night in this graveyard and check out what happens here," explained Peter. "Are you sure? I think it's quite risky," said Ross. "Are you scared?" "Don't act like a crybaby," said Peter. "No, I'm not scared. Why would I be scared? I've done so many adventures with you, don't you remember?" said Ross. "Yeah, that's like my friend," said Peter. "But when?" asked Ross. "Whenever you want, but I think we should do it today," Peter said. "Yeah, why not? But what will we tell our parents? That we're going to spend a night in a graveyard, huh?" Ross asked. "You tell your parents that you are coming to my house for a night stay, and I will tell my parents that I am going for a night stay at your place," Peter said. "What an idea! You have learnt so many things in my company," Ross said, smiling. "Oh, come on, boy," replied Peter. They both walked to their houses. When they reached home, they did the same as they planned. They packed a blanket, a torch, and some chips, and left home after dinner. They walked to the graveyard and were feeling cold as winter was about to come. Ross was a little bit afraid as they were heading towards the graveyard. As they reached, Ross started to shiver due to fear. "Are you okay?" asked Peter. "Yeah, I'm absolutely fine. It's just because of the weather." Peter understood because Ross's eyes were saying everything clearly, but he didn't say anything. They now entered the graveyard and were wandering around to find a place to sit so they could get a perfect view of the graveyard. Finally, they found a place. They sat there and started to stare at a tree right behind them. To their astonishment, the tree had a treehouse built in it. Peter had heard of it before but didn't believe, but now he had witnessed it with his own eyes. Ross asked Peter about the treehouse, and Peter replied, "The treehouse was built when a little girl was buried here. The little girl died after falling from a treehouse in her garden. When she fell off, she had a little bit life in her body and was taken to hospital. Her head was hurt and she could barely breathe, but when she felt better, she was asked about how she fell, and she replied, 'I was playing with my doll and suddenly my doll stood up and I was surprised. She told me to hold her hand and I did as she told me. We were walking hand in hand and she took me to the window and told me to stand there. I did as she said, and then she pushed me out of the window and I fell off. No one believed her, and after 2 days she died in the hospital after removing her oxygen mask. The weirdest thing was why would she had removed her oxygen mask and the doll was also found in her hospital room when she died. Everyone thought it was a coincidence. And the most strange thing is that this treehouse wasn't built by anyone, it just built itself.' Stop this nonsense, how can a doll throw a girl off the window? She was talking this nonsense because of her head injury," Ross replied, controlling his fear. "Yeah, for sure," said Peter. "Okay, so let's find the insane girl's grave." "Do you even know her name?" Ross asked. "Yeah, I have heard her name a million times. Her name was Laura, Laura Watson." They standed up and started to find the girl's grave. "Oh, here it is," said Peter. "Where?" Ross asked. "Just below the treehouse," said Peter. "Laura Watson, the 21st of January, 2008, 27, the October 2013, Peter read. "Oh, what a coincidence, she died today 3 years ago." "Arrgh!" screamed Ross. "What happened to you?" asked Peter. "Are you blind? Can't you see the doll standing beside Laura's grave?" "No," replied Peter. It's just your imagination. You must be thinking of the doll and now you are seeing it in real life, said Peter. Peter couldn't see the doll, and now Ross wasn't seeing the doll as well. Maybe, replied Ross. Sound of girl laughing. Did you heard that? Asked Ross. Yeah, did you heard that too? Replied Peter. Yeah, but where is the sound coming from? Asked Ross. Peter looks towards the treehouse and finds Laura and the doll laughing together. Oh my God! Shouted Peter. Ross looks towards Peter and then looks at the treehouse. Oh no! Screamed Ross. Both ran as fast as they could. They then stopped to breathe and found the doll telling both of them to hold her hand. Both screamed hard and were terrified as hell. They were running fast, and suddenly Ross fell down. There were two graves joined together. Peter, the 22nd of March, 1999 to the 27th of October, 2015, and Ross, the 1st of May, 1999 to the 27th of October, 2015, Peter read. They ran harder and harder, but every time they reached the treehouse and saw the doll telling both of them to hold her hands. This time they heard sound of a girl crying coming from Laura's grave. They just ran and then found a corner and hid there till morning. When the sun came out, they felt relaxed, and that demonic doll was gone. They picked up their backpacks and went out of the graveyard. Ross told Peter, "I will never come for an adventure in such a place." "It was kind of fun, wasn't it?" said Peter. "Shut up!" shouted Ross. Peter smiled. They both went to their homes and never discussed the night again. As we come to the end of this gripping story, we hope that you were on the edge of your seat until the very last moment. The twists and turns of the plot kept us guessing until the very end, and we hope that you were just as captivated. Thank you for joining us on this thrilling journey, and we hope to see you again soon for more stories that will leave you breathless. Until then, stay curious and keep exploring the unknown. Goodbye